Hey there, how's it going? Adrienne Elise here. I just thought I'd pop in and talk to you about what's going on in the stars. There's some pretty intense energy going on. Are you feeling it? We are just being pushed and pulled and kind of like, it feels like we're silly putty or something in the world right now. The only thing I can think of with this energy is maybe we really are unraveling our reality and building a new one, hopefully. But it definitely feels like things are unraveling. And this is just such an intense time as we prepare for Venus turning direct. And what it's doing is bringing forward all of the things that Venus retrograde has been about. We've been kind of deep inside our internal space with all of these triggered feelings. And now they're coming out. They're coming out on the table, and it feels really vulnerable for a lot of people. But we've got to release ourselves from these places, and that's why we're going to these places. So all of the vulnerable feelings and the ego death feelings and the letting go, the squeezing, all that stuff that we've been feeling in intense times during the Mars retrograde this summer and during this Venus retrograde, it's all coming back right now. And there is just this sense of like, are we moving forward or are we moving backwards, or are we just completely stuck here forever? And there's definitely some those feelings of action, feelings of defeat, feelings like you can never make it through. Those are coming up, but it's just, again, we're just visiting this place. The energy is shifting massively. And, you know, a lot of people are feeling on top of the Venus going direct and kind of like, bleh, you know, this like mudslinging thing that's happening from deep in our psyche being revealed for the world to see, our deepest vulnerabilities. And then we've got Mars turning retrograde. You know, all this is happening on Friday, and you can really feel the Mars retrograde energy. It's just so intense. And it's this feeling of things not going your way. And Mercury is a messenger. Mercury is our everyday understanding of what's going on. And it's being very challenged right now. I thought about the theme for today as being like, what is real? Because this is really what's going on. Because it's like, is this reality? Is it not reality? Is there different realities? Like, what's happening? What's going on? Because our fabric is definitely unraveling. And if things are feeling that way for you, like they're just not going, you know, and maybe it's bringing up a whole lifetime and lifetimes of things not going your way. You know, a lot of times Mercury is like a trickster though, you know, because it's like, well, is it not going your way because that's not actually the highest alignment for you right now? But it brings a lot of frustration and a lot of failure energy, programmed failure from past lives, where, you know, that whole energy of Jupiter going to Sagittarius, bringing up this failed mission, you know, and the failed purpose and the failed quest from past lives. And we're kind of, you know, what's coming up for people right now is that feeling of hopelessness around, you know, ever being able to get on the quest, and what's the point, and who are we, where are we doing, who are we, and what's going on. So the energy is this massive energy of resistance. And I think that what's happening is that, you know, along with this ego death theme and letting go of all of these programming and false concepts of our reality and who we are, and those things are trying to fall away, but we're so used to them that it feels like things are falling apart. And now the challenge here, because Mercury in this weird retrograde, pre-retrograde, almost turning retrograde space in an exact square with Neptune. Okay. So that trickster energy is wanting to try to, you know, we're trying to understand what's going on. And then Neptune is like so confusing, you know, so we've got like our conceptual reality and total confusion in a square to each other. And it's challenging our delusions. You know, this is exactly what's going on. And it's challenging our whole reality and challenging our whole peace of mind, challenging our ego structures of who we thought we were and all that. So now if that's happening and you're feeling this resistance, and we're asking, okay, so this resistance that is like bringing up this feeling of being thwarted, some forces working against you over and over again. But the deal with this is that, you know, we have to ask, is the resistance coming from outside of us or inside of us? You know, like, are we really ready to let go? You know, we can say all day long, we're ready for a better life, but are we really ready to let go? of these chains, of these ideas, of these belief systems around who we are, because it doesn't feel like there's anything to catch us if we do. That's an illusion, and maybe that's part of this Mercury square Neptune. Now, it's crazy because Mercury's turning retrograde at 13 degrees Sagittarius. And that's where Neptune has been and will be. And it's like Neptune's hanging out at 13 degrees Pisces and in retrograde as well, or it's about to turn direct. And so Mercury typically will go right over Neptune. If it was going direct, it'd just be like one day, and it'd just be one little visit in the square. But since it's turning retrograde at that exact degree, it means it's hanging out there for 4 straight days, and we're going to be feeling it for like close to 2 weeks. So we've been feeling this for a few days already, and we're kind of moving into this exact square, and it's total confusion, So it's like, we're not really going to, and it's interesting because yes, Venus is going to turn direct, but then Mercury's turning retrograde and this weird square's going on. So we're not going to really be able to make sense of what's going on for a couple more weeks here. I know it's frustrating because it's been like one thing after another, but it's where we're at. And so this resistance energy, and it's like, I want to say yes, because a lot of people say, oh, everything that's working against you is from within. It's like, okay, yeah, that rings true on some level, but then is that invalidating everything you've had to work against as a soul spirit in coming to earth and trying to bring your light here? Because there really are forces working against you. It's actually real. That's actually true. But then we have to look at, where are you complicit in this? Like, where did you say, okay, yeah, I'll go along with this plan because it's time to like break that contract, right? And this is like, we're just in this push-pull, and it's almost like you can just barely kind of feel, in a sense, maybe that there's like this new positive energy out there for you, this new level of connection, coming back to that quest, moving forward into the new, because we are moving, everything's moving. It's a huge movement, but we're stuck between the past and the future in this weird place. We've been here all year. And so we have to ask about this resistance, and we have to look at where we're holding on to the past because it's what we know, even though it's unhealthy. And we have to examine this outer resistance and whether or not we want to give our authority away to it anymore. So it's just like so much going on, but like okay, so Thursday, tomorrow is when Mars moves into Pisces. Okay, Mars has been in Capricorn and Aquarius since April. Like, it's been a long time, 8 months of this journey of Mars retrograde. We start feeling it in May. And now it's come out of its retrograde shadow, but still been in Aquarius. So this is a big energy shift. And Mars doesn't particularly like Pisces, but really, really happy to get out of whatever was going on in these other signs. And Mars and Pisces is going to bring an interesting energy here to this Mercury square Neptune. And as these planets all interact together in this Neptunian energy, this Piscean energy, where we go into our delusions and try to figure out what's real and what's not real. And it's just an ultra confusing time, but it's kind of nice. Mars and Pisces can bring us a little bit of like, slow down, enjoy the season, feel your connection. This is the medicine right now of this time. Even though Mars is coming into a square with Jupiter and in Sagittarius. And so we've got Mercury in square to Neptune and Mars in square to Jupiter. So really intense energy of Scorpio coming up against the Pisces energy. And it's a lot about Sagittarius. Sagittarius wants to know the truth. It's the seeker, and we've just come out of the underworld. We're coming out of the Scorpio energy, and so we're kind of examining the darkness and the shadow, and now we're ready to take it to a new level. And then, Neptune and Pisces is like, oh, really? Is it real? Is it not real? Like, total confusion. But on the other hand, it is that opportunity to figure out what's real for us. Now, at the core of all of this is this Venus about to turn direct, because Venus, so when we're looking at this, things not working out, this resistance, this energy of things just like not lining up in reality right now. If you're feeling that, it's going on and it's frustrating and it feels like it's that thwarting energy. But what if it's because you're just about to jump onto a new timeline? So your forward trajectory of time, because when the present moment ripples out into the future, into the past, right? So it's like a fabric. And so maybe your future fabric is like on a whole nother timeline because we're just about to jump timelines. Right. And so it's like, maybe that's why things aren't working, because you've been waiting to get on that new timeline. But then that brings up this Venus issues of our self-worth and do we deserve it? Because when you're doing timeline reset energy, it's all about a vibration, right? Like a certain vibration, and allowing our bodies to reset to a vibration that can allow our timelines to land. So in this place, we get stuck in these feelings of the lower vibration, of the frustration, of the hopelessness, of the despair, of the isolation, all these things that are coming up from past lives for the indigo souls and the light workers in general. And so, so we want to get on the optimal timeline, right? Like, what if it is there waiting for us, but it's a vibrational resonance, we got to find a way to get into vibrational resonance so we can make that jump. And I don't know exactly when this is happening. Like, maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's yesterday, maybe it's whenever you're ready. Maybe it's later in the year, maybe it's at solstice, So there's just so much shifting, but know that, so Mars is going into new sign after 8 months of this crazy journey. Then we've got Jupiter already went home in Sagittarius, and then Venus is turning direct, Mercury is turning retrograde, and the North Node is now firmly settled into Cancer. So it's a huge amount of shifting, and I'm not feeling it, right? Are you feeling it? It feels like the same old stock. And so, but we will be feeling it. So just hold on. This is kind of the tail end of a dark night of the soul that has been a retrograde season to 2018. And, if you think about that, the tail end of the dark night of the soul, the tail is about your roots, and it's about your balance, and it's about grounding out and feeling safe and comfortable on the planet. It's ancestral stuff. So many ghosts and energies coming up in the Scorpio season, just really stubborn energies of feeling haunted, by maybe your ancestors, or maybe you from the past, that's stuck, the part of you that's stuck in this, like, some other dimensional frequency that's trying to come home. But it's just been a hugely intense time. But if you've taken advantage of it, if you've gone to these places and you felt these feelings, that means you're preparing for this leap. So it's a really powerful time. I hope to talk to you in the next few days, and keep updated on this energy. So thanks so much for tuning in. I look forward to next time. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.